So in today's video, we're going to dive into a recent interview with Lauren Yun, who is a economist. I want you to take a listen to what he had to say about the housing market.
When you have a multiple offer situation, and sometimes it is quite intense, 30 offers. So by definition, you have only one winner and 29 losers who have to retry again.
Okay, so he's 100% right about this. And so I know I have tons of clients. I've got a lot of realtor friends and partners that I work with. And this is a very, very serious and ongoing stressful situation that home buyers are dealing with, especially if you are new. It's stressful enough if you've gone through this process, but if you're new and this is your first time in the game, this can really mess with your mental as you're going through these multiple offer situations and constantly coming up on the short end. So this is pretty interesting when you have a survey that says 65% of Gen Z buyers have actually cried and 61% of millennials. Like, this is pretty crazy to think about the number of people that have been stressed out of their mind going through the home buying process. It's already stressful as it is. This is adding a whole nother layer. Let's continue on and listen to what Mr. Young has to say.
So it is a very high expenditure to begin with, and to go through the process of rejection, resubmitting the contract, it can be quite frustrating. But for those who succeeded, I mean, they are seeing an immediate wealth gain based on the housing shortage and home price growth.
And everyone's focused, laser focused on the Fed right now, which is fighting inflation. And this relates to the longer term interest rates and specifically mortgage rates. I'm looking at the 30-year. It looks like it peaked out about 5%, 5.3%. It has since ticked down to about 5.1%. What effect is this having on home buyers?
Okay, so I want to make sure I address this because this is really important when we're looking at this graph. So, if you're looking to buy, as he mentioned, the rates have ticked down just a little bit. This is good news right here. All right. Now, again, I don't know how long this is going to last, but I think at this point we'll take whatever we can get because we've seen such high skyrocketing rates over the last, 3 to 4 months. Now we're starting to see just a slight change with rates, and we're also seeing some days on the market increase. So hang in there if you are looking to get into home ownership. There's a little bit of light coming at the end of this tunnel. Let's continue on.
Well, maybe some good news for buyers, because what we are seeing is a little more calming, away from the intense multiple offers to actually homes sitting on the market for about a week or 2 weeks before finding a buyer. So the pool of eligible buyers have shrunk because of the rising mortgage rates, and it is quite a meaningful increase. It was 3% last year, now above 5%. People punch the number into the mortgage calculator, and it's quite shocking how much increase in monthly payment. So it has shrunk the pool of buyers, but still we have an ongoing housing shortage, and consequently there could be still residual multiple offers. But I expect by year end things will be much calmer, maybe only a 5% price appreciation.
Okay, so he says a 5% appreciation by year end. I actually agree with this because I've been saying for the last few months that we can't maintain the pace that we're at, right? There's just no way we can maintain this pace. So as we start to hit the summer months and then into the fall and into late 2022, we are going to see some reprieve here. So if you're a buyer, just hang in there because things are going to shift. We've already seen it shift. I've got clients that have been recently looking for homes, and now you're seeing a situation where they can actually make an offer. They're not competing with 10, 20 offers. So the opportunity is going to be there for you if you're looking to own anytime in the latter half of 2022 and beyond. We're seeing some changes right now. So this is good news, and we're kind of getting back to what I would consider a normal market, which in a normal market would be anywhere from around 6 months of inventory, right? 6 months. That's a normal market. Right now, in most places, we're less than 2. All right, now I'm in Texas. So, question of the day: where are you located, and what are inventories looking like where you live? Let me know in the comments below.
So it sounds like the market could potentially correct here over the next couple of months. That's what you think?
Sales are coming down, but the prices are still going up because of the housing shortage. So we saw the latest data with 20% gain in home price, but say a 5% price growth by December compared to the year before. That would match up with the wage growth currently. So that would be much more healthy development.
Yeah, I just
So, I wanted to talk about this real quick. So, he mentioned that pricing is not necessarily going to drop, although rates may come down. And I 100% agree with this. So I've been mentioning this to a lot of my clients, a lot of my realtor partners, that rates may start to come down. I do not expect houses to drop drastically. And I know a lot of you guys may think houses are just going to drop and fall off a cliff. The problem is, guys, we still don't have enough inventory, right? So housing pricing is not necessarily going to drop dramatically, although I have seen some price increases recently in lots of different areas. We're still going to have higher price points moving forward. We're just not going to see the appreciation go through the roof like we've seen the last 6 months to 12 months, right? We're not going to see that. The inflation, or not inflation, but the equity that people have in their homes is not going to skyrocket like it's been. We're going to see a little bit of a slowdown, which gives you more opportunity if you're looking to own a home in 2022. Let's continue on.
I read a report today that rents in the Hampton have crashed. They've fallen 20%. Now, that is a luxury market. That's a high-end market. But a personal story here, I was able to get an apartment at a very good rate in March of last year, and I'm up for renewal in a few months. I'm wondering if this is going to spread to other markets, and should I be looking for perhaps lower rent prices because they are sky high here in Manhattan?
The rents, interestingly, in the inner cities, it actually declined during the early months of the COVID. But now that people are slowly going back to office, there is an increase the apartments in the near the cities, and therefore the rents are beginning to accelerate. Perhaps out in the Hamptons or other vacation regions, as people are going back into office, they are saying, well, maybe I don't want to renew the lease in the vacation region because I have to go back to the city. But the rents overall is rising. In some places like Florida, 20% increase in rent from year before as people are migrating into that state.
All right, so this is a really good point to talk about here. Rents. Okay, so this is why I'm such a huge proponent of owning a home, even though rates are still higher than what they were obviously a year ago, right? When you get into home ownership, your principal and interest payment never changes, right? That stays the same. It stays the same. Now, your taxes and insurance could fluctuate a little bit, but your principal and interest, P&I, they stay the same. So this is the beauty of owning a home. When you're in a rental situation, whether it's an apartment or a home, you have no real cap on your rents. Right now, there are certain states that I know have rental caps, so you can only increase rents by a certain amount. But in most states in this country, there's no cap. So landlords are trying to cash in just like the homeowners are that are selling. Landlords are also trying to cash in right now. And if you're in a rental situation and your lease is coming up for renewal, you better be really, really prepared for what might happen and have an alternative plan. Because so if rents increase to a place where you just can't afford it, you got to think about, okay, what am I going to do? What's my next move if that happens? So just be prepared. But very, very important point there. Let's continue on.
Lawrence, how long can this continue for? The fact that people are going to be facing a 30-40% increase in their rents, do you see that subsiding anytime when you look out maybe a year, 2 or 3 years down the road?
Now, fortunately, the housing start on the multifamily, which is essentially apartment building, it is at a cyclical high. In fact, I believe it is a 40-year high. So it will bring more supply. There's still some supply chain issue on materials and others not coming on time, but eventually more supply will reach the market. It's a welcoming trend that will begin to moderate rent increases. And also the builders, home builders are also building more single family home. So that will begin to also moderate home price growth.
Okay, so this is super important here. So we're talking about rents right now. These are the most expensive U.S. rental markets. Now, if you're not in any one of these 6 states, you may be in a place where, maybe the rents are still quite higher today than they were 6 to 12 months ago. I know for me in Texas, we've seen rents skyrocket as well. And although we may not be on this list, the point I'm trying to make here is you've got to be prepared for these skyrocketing rents. Homeownership is the best hedge against inflation. It's also the best hedge against rental increases, right? You can see what's going on in these 6 states, right? It's crazy what's happening with these rents. And so, you're not really protecting yourself when you say, I'm going to wait till rates come down. I'm going to wait for the market to come down and for everything to crash and burn. Although, yes, we've got this recession going on, your rents are continuing to skyrocket. And if you're in any one of these 6 states, it is very challenging to keep up with rents that are jumping from one year to the next. You might be getting a $400, $500, $600 increase or more, especially in Miami. Miami is really bad when it comes to rent. So I'm really curious to get your feedback on what you think about the rental market, because it's no better on that side either. Yes, you've got higher prices, you've got higher interest rates, you also have higher rents. Where do you want to be on this? I think home ownership is a much better place to be. And I would just encourage you to do what you have to do to get there. So appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.